Hey everybody, it's Saturday Night Live. That's right, it's Saturday night. It's 11:46 p.m. It's Ken and Katrina on the couch. We're here. We're going to talk about baseball. We're just going to have a cool conversation because, oh my God, there's so many things to go over that even Katrina's like, you know what? What did you decide you were going to do today with your money to these sports betting accounts? What are you going to do?
I was finally convinced to open up some sports betting accounts of my own. But I had ran into some trouble trying to verify my identity and all that. So that's not going to happen in one day, apparently.
Yeah, you got to scan your
So,
IDs and all that stuff. But there are deposit bonuses on all the websites. I'll probably start advertising for them as we go through her process here. But she's so into seeing me doing all the sports betting stuff that we have to do it. So here is a video where we're going to talk about baseball. It's a fun sport to bet over the summer, even when it's aggravating and you lose. But it's fun when you win also. And there's so much going on in this file that I just have to be like, oh my God, I could spend a lot of the day really messing around with things. And I want to show you, if you subscribe to this and you get this file, I don't send it out in the email every day, but I will send it if you want it to play with it because there's so much you can do. I'm going to show you how we do that. So we have results in here from today, right? Today was not a great day. When we look at the day, we were actually 6-8. And these are wins and losses here. You can see that there are a lot of losses up top. Loss, win. Dodgers are winning. That game's not even over yet. Losses. Unbelievable. A lot of losses. It's not good. It's not good. It's a bad day. It's a bad day. But it's not always going to be like that. And also, there's a reason some of these games were losses that may be the fault of me. It might be my fault. You know why it's my fault?
why?
All right, I'll show you. So let's look at a game, for example, this New York Yankees Tampa Bay game. You always have Tampa Bay involved in everything you do, it seems like. NYY is New York Yankees.
Okay.
Algorithm projected that the New York Yankees were going to beat Tampa Bay 10-6 right here. They ended up losing the game 0-4. Didn't score any runs at all. They lost 4-0. Well, what happened? Why did it predict that there was going to be 10 runs for the Yankees and 6 runs for Tampa Bay? The answer is it had to do with these pitchers. These pitchers here these are their stats. They didn't have any wins and only one loss so far this year. And they had an ERA, which is how many runs they're giving up. That's a lot of runs they're giving up. So it predicted there were going to be a lot of runs because it looked like these pitchers were awful. See all this red here? You know, this red's bad. Well, here's the deal. Pitchers have stats per year. Like they'll have stats for this year, 2021, or sometimes they'll have stats for last year, except there were no stats for Chris Archer last year because he didn't play last year. He decided to opt out of the season because he didn't want to potentially get COVID. So he didn't play last year. He played the year before, 2019, and this was his record. And you know what? Domingo Herman for the Yankees also opted out last year and only played in 2019. And those are their records. And look at what that does to the projected score. Remember how it was 10-4 before? It's only 5-3 now. Everything changed. You know why it changed? Because we used better pitching stats from a full year by doing this over here and changing what year we reference the pitching stats. So basically what this does is it changes everything, and we can change all of these things. And it's kind of like, how long do I spend every day doing this for everybody? Because I could go through every game and try to find the optimal scenario. It's really, really complicated. So you can change the year of the pitching stats. You can also change how much you care about all of these stats by changing these numbers. If we only cared about the batters, for example, the guys that are hitting in here, you could say 100% we only care about the batters. That's going to do amazing things to the scores and everything too. It's going to change everything. It's going to make your total projections. So there's so much you can do with this file that it's just out of control. How you can analyze every single game if you really want to. Because I can't do it every day for everybody. Like, we don't have time every day. You saw how angry I was losing on with yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was not fun,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I spent all this time doing this and my games don't even win. The answer is because you need to spend even more time doing it to pay attention to every game. You don't have that kind of time all day. So this thing is just really helpful to look at to see where we have incomplete stats and where we want to mess around with stuff. And there's just amazing things you can do with it. So tomorrow I'm going to dump it in here. I'm going to send out the snapshot to everybody, and I'll try to make some comments about maybe which pitchers don't have good stats for specific years over here to tell people to watch out for weird things like this. This is not a lot of games. Like, we want to have a lot of games. 2 years ago, this guy pitched. This is 18 wins and 4 losses, tons of games. We don't have any games this year, so the information is bad. So it just becomes difficult in the beginning of the season to read this thing. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, there's going to be a lot that people can do with this, and I know it's something, I guess when you get it every day, you just want to know, well, all right, what's the big pick, right? The big pick was supposed to be Minnesota today. Minnesota didn't win today. Minnesota didn't put up the runs we thought. We thought that Seattle's bullpen here, we thought Seattle was going to lose 8-3. They ended up winning 4-3 because their pitching held up. Things happen. So, nothing we can do. Just a loss. But whatever. So we'll update this thing tomorrow. I'll send out this to those who subscribe, and then we'll probably do a video later in the day. If you get one of these accounts funded, there's like a free $1,000 you can get on FanDuel and DraftKings for depositing $1,000, up to $1,000 bets on, I believe, both websites. It's pretty crazy. So there'll be some good picks. They're not going to win every day, but they'll probably win more than 50% of the time. So we'll have those as we discuss tomorrow after we do the video, send it out to subscribers, and then everybody else will get it later in the day. And we'll see what our pick of the day is. Mm-hmm. And we'll see if we make a bet. So that's baseball. That's how to use the algorithm. Some things you can update with. You can always ask me questions if you subscribe and you want to know what else you want to do with this, because there are tons of different sheets in here that are contributing to these scores. And I don't have time to go through everything, but I do have time to help people that want to try to manipulate this and use it to their own advantage. All right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So we'll see how we do tomorrow. Hockey was a decent day today, I think, so far. I don't know. We'll have more updates. It never ends. We just keep doing this. Katrina said do it. People want to see it. We're going to do it. We'll have fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I have questions, but...
Oh, talk, please. Join.
Yeah.
That's what you're here for. I'm not supposed to talk too much.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, you said there's a lot to go over, but...
There is.
Just
Good.
like a basic...
Video's not over, folks. Go.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Let's do it.
So that just was... since you said you could change the percentages up there, importance... How do you... So does that add up altogether to 100%?
It doesn't have to. It's kind of more methodical if it does, but it doesn't have to. And also, here's the relevance of that. No, it's a very good point, because this is really interesting. So this is the weight of the factor of this category on what it's predicting, meaning... We believe that 15% of a potential 130%, not really even 100%, but 15%, whatever, still 15%, is going to be related to the pitcher's win percentage. Meaning, when the pitcher starts a game, what's the chance the pitcher wins historically? This guy, Trevor Rogers, won 14% of his games for Miami in 2020. This guy, Jacob deGrom, won 33% of his games, more of them. So... This is weighting how much of this factor matters in all the big formulas. Now, early in the season, when we're using pitcher stats from this year, you get this situation where a pitcher has a 0 win percentage because they had one game or 0 games. So it's distorting. So it's almost better to not use this at all early in the season and not use the loss percentage at all. And if you do that, things are going to change everywhere. Projections are going to change everywhere. And a lot of times what we'll do is regressively test different scenarios of this over historical data to figure out what the optimal percentage of this was to figure out the most wins. Mm-hmm. That's something we do a little later in the season when we get more stats. Mm-hmm. So this is totally flexible. You can mess around with this all you want and simulate what would have happened. So yeah,
Just for those of us who are new, I guess, like to your products, or I guess as far as baseball, how many years have you been using this?
This is year
for
number
baseball?
3.
Okay.
3 or 4, at least
Okay.
3.
Okay.
And the first year it did really well. The second year kind of did okay. It won like 3% ROI. You know, if you risked $1,000 throughout the year, you ended up with 1,030 1,030. Very little, 3%, not even 30%, not 1,300. You end up with 1,030. So it was only a slight winner that year, but you can use this to do all kinds of things. So I was just doing a straight look at wins and losses and not any more complex betting strategies. And even if you just won 3% actually with wins and losses, that's actually really good. Winning at all against Vegas is good, or against the odds makers. So yeah, it provides intelligence, and it gets better throughout the year. Once the stats get filled in, it means more. That's why at the beginning of the year, it's really like people are asking me for the file now, and I'm like, this thing is a disaster right now. Like, we are in the middle of combining stats from different years, and all these things can change, and I don't know what the optimal distribution is yet, because we don't know what's going to happen. Like, things change all over the place right now. You got to have at least a few weeks before it really materializes into something that you can kind of cookie cutter every day and get it ready.
So for now, you're gonna set the pitcher win percent and loss for at least for your picks every day. Are you gonna set those percentages to? You said 0. Might as well not look at them.
We might. I mean, we could, and then retroactively see how that would impact the game. So, were there any close games that we lost here today? And the answer is, we didn't lose close games. We lost big games the wrong direction. Like, there was nothing that was going to change the Seattle-Minnesota game, because there weren't any stats where Seattle was really better. In almost no way is Seattle better in any one of these categories. Every one Minnesota was better. It just happened to be a game it's called Why They Play the Game. It just happened to be a game where Seattle's pitching held up and Minnesota couldn't hit.
Yeah, complete surprise.
There is some luck in the game, right? It doesn't win every day.
Yeah.
But so there was no way you were going to have stats get that correct. I mean, we could try to say, well, what happened in 2021 for these pitchers instead of 2020? We could see what happens there. In that case, the score changes to 8-0 Minnesota. So even worse. There was no way to get Seattle to win that game. So that you just have to accept that sometimes the math can't get there, and there's like, what happened there? The answer is, well, Seattle put up just about as many runs as we thought they would. They put up 4. We thought they were going to put up 3. It's Minnesota didn't hit. So was Minnesota's lineup different? Maybe I got Minnesota's lineup wrong. When we upload the lineups every day, they go here, and I do them at one point throughout the day, and I don't always update them later. So the Minnesota lineup might have been in an expected status and not finalized status, although it probably was final. And that's what their lineup shows up over here. It's all these guys. So maybe these guys didn't all play. I don't know, but maybe they just didn't hit today. Whatever, it happens. You can't harp on it. It just happens sometimes. So that's some things you can change. What other questions you got over there? Katrina, what else you got?
I don't know. Since we were talking about home and away games, how much does that matter with baseball? Just out of curiosity.
Matters a lot, and I'm not figuring it into my formula. Gosh darn it! Good point. So here's why home and away matters a lot. Home and away matters not only for the pretend fans that may or may not be at games this year, but it also matters because you get to go last when you're the home team. And this is not a timed game. Baseball's is not a timed game. It's a game based on number of outs recorded. So when you get to go last, first of all, that means that if you're winning at the end of the first half of the 9th inning, the game is over, and there is no bottom of the 9th because you already won. So you don't have to, because you bottom and top of the innings are when the home and away teams go. So if you're a home team and you're winning, there's no bottom of the 9th inning. So if you're ahead by 1 run, game's over. You don't even hit again because the game's over. So when we talk about teams winning by more than 1,
I lost you.
No, there's a couple.
It's late over here.
couple reasons why home and away matters.
Well, keep going with that. for
Yeah,
the people.
so home and away matters when you think about how many runs a team might win by. When it's a home team, having them win by more than one run is a lot tougher, because if the game's tied and it goes to extra innings and the home team scores one run, the game's over because it's this is the bottom of the inning. So it's tough for them to win by more than one. So when you bet, you need to think about a team, whether they're home or away, because they might win by more than one more often when they are an away team. It's a mathematical thing. It's an interesting way to think about betting, because sometimes we'll bet with runs and not. We'll talk about that later in another video. So anyway, I should figure in home and away into scoring and into how many times they come up at bat, because it does matter. So yeah, I don't do that right now. Will a home team win more than an away team? The answer is, I don't know. I think the answer is actually yes, due to the fact that going last has its advantages in each inning. So I think the home teams do win more, but I don't know if it's statistically significant. It probably is. It's a question we should ask Google and figure out the answer to. I don't know what else you got.
That's it for now.
It's it for now. No, it's a good video. It's good times. So yeah, baseball updates will happen. Katrina's not going anywhere. I mean, even if she picks losers, she's probably going to pick winners, because all I do is pick losers. She's like 3-1, I think, in videos she's done. She lost one game, and it was betting against the Buffalo Sabres, and it was the first time Buffalo won after losing 19 games in a row. So it's very difficult to beat her. Really, the earth has to move to beat Katrina's picks. So we'll find out tomorrow, I guess, what they are. Yeah. All right, guys. We're out. May all your picks be winning.